Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Become the Disruptor. My name is Magda. I'm a trauma-informed therapist, and today we're going to be talking about panic and grief from a biological perspective. So from a perspective of these, panic and grief, they are treated as one emotional circuit put by Mother Nature deep inside your brain, because of course in this physical reality we will experience losses, we will experience death. Therefore, the panic and grief, we need that in our biology, in our physiology, to help us deal with that. Now, this primary emotional circuit, it activates when something important has ended. So that doesn't have to be even someone dying, but you may be losing a job, or you losing a career that was important to you, losing health or a home, whatever that is. So the panic and grief, they do mobilize when something important has ended, when attachment is being threatened. So again, we don't only attach to people, we attach to places, we attach to, so let's say maybe some people who go through, there are wars, in different parts of the world. So when you lose home or access to not only to the, the physical place that you would call home, but also to your country, that is a big attachment. A lot of people will be really attached to the land, to their country. So any type of attachment, when it is threatened, that particular emotional circuit lights up. And grief also activates when that loss that you experience, it must be registered. So it will keep on lighting up in a way until you actually register that. So self-denial in this particular way, it will never work. And that's why you will see a lot of people, let's say, who are in that self-denial, who are out trying to almost like, oh, it's probably because of this. It's like, there are some things that happen in this world, in this life, that you cannot explain rationally through God has wanted that or things like that, because this is unfortunately sometimes what people say. I had been through major losses when people in my life at some point they died, and not all of them, but there was like a period in my life when that has happened, when I experienced a lot of losses in a short period of time, in a short space of time. People don't know how to deal with it, and that's why there's a lot of cliche, and there's a lot of very, I would say, irrelevant and unhelpful information for people who are actually going through grief, because it doesn't help you actually to not even move on, but to actually integrate the loss. So your nervous system and your brain, when it is lighting up, and when it's almost like asking you to register the loss that has happened, it is asking you not to accept it, but actually to update. You need to update your internal map, because when you lose a person that you used to rely on, you have to either substitute, not that even that person, but you have to update your own internal almost like system, so you will be able to provide those things that maybe that person provided for you by yourself, whether that was comfort, whether that was love, whatever that is that they were providing you with. So the nervous system and the brain, when the grief and panic emotional circuit, when they light up, they are asking you for an update, that are asking you for a registration that something important has ended. And that's why things go wrong when people are suppressing grief. And especially in our culture, it's almost like, well, just move on, just get over and do it. Like, this is coming from a dysregulation. Suppression of something important is dysregulation. It's a disguised dysregulation, because you cannot deal with the actual consequences of what has happened. And your nervous system will keep on scanning. It will keep on scanning for the thing that you lost. So it's really important that you will register that properly, without the self-denial, without soothing, without artificial comfort, but just saying, this person has died. I will never gonna see them again. Or, or a home, or, whatever that is. So when people suppress grief, or when people treat grief or panic as a pathology, that is really not your failure. It's not a psychological failure. It's basically, you have to update your orientation. You have to update your internal map. And if you're not gonna do that, if you're gonna suppress and treat grief as a pathology, you will keep on being dysregulated. Your nervous system will never going to be able to regulate itself, because you're not acknowledging what is. You're not acknowledging the reality. You're trying to almost like buffer the truth. Because the thing is that, when I faced a death of someone, for me, when someone said, oh, God wanted that, it's like, for me, that is almost like that. I don't require soothing. I actually needed to face the truth without any buffer. Any buffer between you and truth is a buffer, is a crutch. And maybe you need that crutch for the moment, but even if whatever you need at the moment, provide it for yourself. But the sooner you touch the truth, the sooner you're gonna start healing. So those types of endings, they do require recognition from you. You have to recognize, not to analyze it, why it happened. And then, because this is another thing, there's a lot of, sometimes the death that happens might not be, might be a shock for you, could be a great injustice. Storytelling, analysis, they will not gonna help you to recognize the truth, because the truth is always going to be that this person is gone, or this, my home is gone. Whatever, it's almost like whatever is happening in between is a buffer for soothing and for comfort. And like I said, sometimes you do need that before you actually face the reality of it. But you have to face the reality. And, with, let's say, the death of certain people, you obviously cannot have them back because they died, but maybe you can, let's say, regain the career or regain health. However, first you gotta face the truth. You gotta face the what is now. So I would really encourage you, now that you're starting it's the beginning of 2026, what has actually ended for you in 2025? And that doesn't have to be, like I said, something big. Maybe there were some small things that you lost, but actually they accumulated, and maybe you didn't actually recognize that. And it's really important that you will. So think about what has ended. What is there in your life that you can no longer sustain? What cannot be sustained any longer? And what type of effort that you keep on coming back to is no longer effective? And you will see that actually that there's potentially a few things that maybe you need to just say to yourself, like, that's not gonna work. I cannot do this anymore. And that is when you grow. That is when actually the scanning for threat is reducing. That is when that mobilization of unhealthy kind is reducing. And that is when the capacity of the nervous system, so the regulation of the nervous system is returning online. Because when you acknowledge the grief, that will become your new orientation, because with that new internal map, you will orient in this reality differently. So let's say I know 100% that if I didn't lose the people that I had in my life, I wouldn't be in the place that I am in now. I would be making different decisions. I would be a completely different person. This grief, the losses have changed me internally because I allowed them to change me. Because this is the thing, those changes, they require change on your part. You have to update. You have to increase your capacity for life. And when you ignore that, that's when you have a lot of chaos and a lot of noise. So that is a biological take on grief and panic, and I trust that that was helpful. If you want to book a therapeutic session with me, you've got the links down below. I also released recently Aesthetic Operating System, which is a mini guide for neuroaesthetics. So if you are interested in that, again, check the links below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.